Well, hello. Welcome to another episode of The Whiskey Neighbor. I'm John, your neighbor, and I'd like to continue my thoughts on whiskey today with two approachable, affordable, and good Canadian ryes. So this one is Canadian Club, Chairman Select 100% Rye, and this one is J.P. Wiser's Double Still, which actually is going away. But more on that later. After the break, I'll pour these two and give a bit of a comparison notes on what I think. All right, well, coming back after the break, as I said, we've got two Canadian whiskeys. I'll pour a little bit of both. The Chairman Select Canadian Club is, I believe Alberta Distillers is the rye behind this. It is 40%, bottled at 40% or 80 proof, so not a very strong bottling, but it's an incredibly affordable rye. In fact, I think I'll probably say it a few times, but this has been a surprise to me. I've seen lots of reviewers talk about the Canadian Club 100% Rye, and I think I'll be right in line with a lot of what they're saying. For the price, well, we'll see how it tastes. This one over here is J.P. Wiser's Double Still, which I first came to after reading the 2017 Canadian Whisky Awards, where I think 7 judges, I should know, you can see I've almost crushed this bottle, did I think 40 different whiskeys, and they tasted them blind, and then they aggregated the results. Okay, so today we're looking at Canadian Club 100% Rye, J.P. Wiser's Double Still. Coming back to the first one, Canadian Club, as I give it a bit of a approach. It does clearly say it's 100% rye. I think it's from Alberta Distilleries is the rye behind this, but it's no age stamp. So, and it's very clean on the nose. There's a light hint of maybe some wood in there, but quite mellow. Which is surprising for a rye. A little bit of spice, a little bit of floral notes. I would say right off the nose, this is quite approachable, but nothing offending. It's not astringent, it's not burning. Very, very, well, I know this word is used too much when we talk about whiskey, but really quite smooth. So on the nose, just gentle. There's some rye spice, now that I'm giving it. And I really should give it more time, but I might run out of light. We are here in Alberta, and evening comes up really fast. Yeah, not much more. A little bit of sweetness in there. Maybe that's caramel. Yeah, but quite approachable. So I'm gonna taste it. Well, a little bit of young in the sense that some of the booze came back on me a little bit there. I was surprising at 40%, but it's not boozy and it's not strong. Just that I was surprised by that. But the nose continues. Right now I'm getting a little bit of rye spice, which is good, right? It's a rye. It doesn't knock your socks off. This isn't a big, bold 50% virgin oak, although there I got some, now I'm playing in the finish and I haven't described the palate yet. Palate is, I better take another sip. Yeah, there's a, it's not very oily in the mouth. It's pretty clean. But a little bit of sweetness there, a little bit of floral notes. Definitely some rye spice, right? My mouth came alive a little bit with that sip. As I let it fade in the back, It's not a very long finish. Short to medium, but that's when I can catch some wood. I don't know what it's aged in. It doesn't say. Again, non-age stamp. It's probably pretty young. I'm thinking like 4 years, but in order to be this smooth, well, and there are some of the astringency and alcohol kicks around. Again, probably speaking a bit of age. I'm going to think it's going to be aged to get some of the wood notes that I'm getting. It must be, at least some of the batch must be aged in new oak. I don't say must, but that's my impression. Because if this was young and like, 4 years and just in, ex-bourbon barrels or used casks, I don't think I'd get the notes there. But really, super approachable nose. Still has that rye spice. Thankfully, not too much sweetness. Sometimes when I go to Canadian Club, I find their level of sweetness pretty high. I don't know how this was distilled, but because of the mild fruit and lighter nose, I'm going to think it's a column still, not a pot still, but that's my thought. So really, lots of reviewers have been surprised and really like this. I am surprised and like it with a qualifier. You can get this for $20 a bottle sometimes, 25. This is a great whiskey, and I would have it on the shelf at that price pretty much all the time because I can drink it neat when I want a little bit of rye spice. And you certainly would work well in cocktails. I think it would give you some of that backbone that you like in a rye. But not super memorable. And some of the reviewers online, when I saw them, kind of led me to believe like, this is amazing. And I would say, it's good. This is a good rye. But amazing? I don't know. So let's try to give Double Still a chance. Now, Double Still is from J.P. Weiser's, and as I alluded to in the intro, actually it's going away, but it's not. It's, I think they released it in the States under triple cask, because that relates to how they've aged it, what kind of casks they put it in. And then I think to bring their Canadian and American release into alignment, you'll see a J.P. Weiser triple cask rye. But it is, from everything I've been able to confirm, actually it is Double Still. So it's talking more about that they age it. I'm not sure how they get triple cask, because I know this one is a mix of new oak and used used casks. But talking about the still, this one is some column and some pot still, right? So we'll see how that affects the nose. It's also bottled higher. Instead of 40, it's at 43.4%. So I'll give it an approach. Oh, and quite different. There's a deeper sweetness to this, and unfortunately I've recently read that possibly this has some corn in it. This over here is 100% rye. This one just talks about being a blend of pot still rye and column still rye, and I have no doubt, great company, I know that's what there's in here. But they haven't indicated if they haven't, put something else in it. And the nose is more complicated. I can get some floral, I get a little fruit, and I get some sweetness that I would either I'm getting like an ex-bourbon cask, which I don't think it's in. I think it's just a used whiskey cask. Or might be from something like a corn. Can't confirm though. So if it's just rye, then I have to say it has another layer, a layer of sweetness, something else going on in here in addition to the notes you'd expect from a light rye. So I'm going to give it a bit of a sample. And the palate continues the nose. Here in addition to the rye flavoring on the tongue, this one it has a little more body in the mouthfeel. It's a little fuller, not oily, but something more, so coats the tongue more. I actually taste the alcohol less than I did in the other rye, so it's smooth. But a little while ago, back when this bottle was about halfway through, I did this in a blind taste test with 3 other ryes. So I didn't know I was tasting this, but now I do. And I couldn't believe the amount of butterscotch or butter that I picked up on this. And ever since then, now I've got the mental, like I know what I'm drinking, and I know that's what I tasted even when I was doing it blind. I can't get away from that when I have double still. I still find it coating, enjoyable. I find the fruitiness of rye, a little bit of the spice on the tongue, but the butterscotch or butter is so present for me that actually I enjoy this a little less than I did before that. But, you know, an interesting nose. It's got maybe even a little bit longer finish. Like not long finish comparing to the other rye. This is at best a medium finish. It's got a little more pucker. So it's a little more drying, a little more pucker, and a little spicier. But it's also oily. Well, not oily. It's a bit coating. It's got that butter, but with sweetness. So I think butterscotch is a good way to say it. So if I were to, so how do I rate these? You know, at the price point of Canadian Club, it's basically a must buy. Not that I'm saying I want to buy cheap whiskey. I'm saying this tastes like a good whiskey, you know, medium or better shelf type whiskey. Like this is good. It's a good rye. And then if you consider the price that you can buy this at, I can't see why you wouldn't want this on your shelf, right? So this is difficult for me to put a rating on, but I would say 3-star. Oh, coming back to it. Now there's a few more baking spices in there that I didn't pick up just moments ago. Of course, I haven't cleared my palate. I should do that. And I want, oh boy, I forgot the fellow's name. I've been following him now. An amazing guy on YouTube. I talked about having oat cakes. I want to get some oat cakes to really try to scrape out, clear out my palate. Apparently that's what I need to do. You know, coming back to it, the sweetness has come up again. Yeah, and quite a pleasant, really, you know, nice rye. Solid as 100%. You don't have to wonder what's going on in here. And Canadian Club, you know, they put a lot of great stuff. I can't wait to try their 40-year-old that's come out. But, you know, that's 3.5 for sure. That's a good rye. I like it. And at the value, seriously, why don't you have it? Coming back to the JP Weiser. No, nothing new. Except for now, I feel like I can smell the butterscotch, which is weird. Definitely more flavor. So, you know, if you're looking for just a good representation of rye and rye grain without any complication with finishing or casking, I'm pretty sure this is probably used. Although there is enough wood in there that I wonder if it's just aged in used cast. But, you know, this is rye. This is a double still rye, clearly rye, but it's kind of more interesting, but I would taste it before I put it in a cocktail. So that, I mean, of course, but I'm just saying there's enough flavor in this that I would like to try it. And if you like a very simple cocktail, like a Manhattan old fashioned, something simple, it would be great in, right? Because it's got a lot of flavors and the sugar notes would probably come up more in that butter feel, that mouth feel. Okay. You know what? I do like this a little bit more. If I'm giving an opinion, and I think that's what my channel is about, then I would have to say, you know, this one's 3.5, 4. This one's 3.5, depending on your mood or your day. And that would be consistent with how I've rated them before I put them head to head. This is actually the first time I've tried to taste them right against each other. But both fine Canadian ryes, an amazing value, a good and I think a little more interesting, and as a sipper a little more interesting, a little more depth. I do like the double still. I haven't tried it in the new label, the triple cask, but I've read that it is actually exactly the same expression. Some question as to whether there's some other base whiskey in here, maybe some corn, especially from the mouthfeel that I get here. But it's still rye spice, rye nose. Like it's not, you're not going to wonder like, oh, is that a bourbon? Or no, this is a rye. This is a rye. This one's 100%. So that's my review. Today, I would go, and in the past, I have gone that double still is just a little nicer, a little more interesting than the Canadian Club. But I would go with either one. So that would be my quick comparison as the light fades away. Hope you enjoyed it, and please add your thoughts down below. I'm really appreciating those that subscribe. If you have other channels too, you subscribe for me. I certainly subscribe on you, and then I look at what you're saying, and I think it gives me ideas for, oh, yeah, I'd like to do that on my channel, or I'd like to share my thoughts that way. So yeah, feel free to subscribe, comment, love comments, like if you think this is a good comparison between JP Weiser, Canadian Club, and we'll see you next time. Oh, I will say, if you're in the Edmonton area, and this is like mind blown, that Sobeys and Safeway liquor stores, right? There's quite a few in Edmonton and St. Albert and around, is going to put on promotion. I have no idea what their stock levels are, but all of the, I've been calling them antique collection, but I think, what's the rare expression of the Northern Border? Like the unique ones, right? We've got the Pike Creek 21, the Trinity, Gooderham and Warts, the cask strength lot 40, cask strength lot 40, please, like, buy that. And the JP Weiser 35. They're actually putting them on promotion. Starting tomorrow, they're taking about $10 off a bottle. Like, so many people have told me, communicated with me, they can't get it, they can't find it, it's sold out. You know, and I went in panic, like 2 weeks ago I was in a panic, found some, and their flyer says that they're gonna put them on sale. So, I've only tried the Lot 40 cask strength, and if you want to talk about rye, that's amazing. But the other one, I can't imagine that any of them are poor. I think they're all going to be great whiskeys, even though I haven't tried them. So it's not a recommendation. It's just by reputation, by hearing other people try them. And for them to be on sale in the Edmonton area, $10 off, like, could be a good weekend to pick up some whiskey. Also coming up very soon, Last Mountain in Saskatchewan. I think I've said this before. On the 4th is releasing their rye. I think it's a cask strength, only into Saskatchewan. I'm trying to work on some friends out there. Old Bible school friend, you know who you are. You have a bus charter. I think you need to buy me some whiskey. And then if I think of Rig Hand, Rig Hand, it used to be a big rig in Leduc on the 11th. I think I had those backwards last time, but they're going to be releasing their rye. They're going to have a cool release party. They're going to have a band, and they're going to sell the first edition at a little bit more money than I'm going to pay, and then they're going to sell the second edition, which is probably what I'm going to pick up. Hey, thanks for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, drop in again. This has been my review of Canadian Club. Solid, great rye. Double still, a little more complicated, a little more interesting. Have a good night. Drink responsibly.